This is Hong Kong Free Press, and we are live today coming to you from the Wan Chai Convention and Exhibition Center. So Hong Kong is holding its first chief executive elections today with just one contender, John Lee. Today we have with us the chairperson of the Lang Kwai Fong Group, and among the election committee members that have a vote in the election today, Allan Zeman, who will be sharing his thoughts with us on this one-man race that is happening this morning. So, Alan, critics say that this is a predetermined election, or even a sham, given that Lee is running unopposed and has not made many or even any attempts to engage with the public. So, how would you respond to this criticism?
It's fun that critics always need to criticize. That's why they get paid. As far as I'm concerned, the reason there's only a single candidate in this election, I've voted every single election since '97, and basically we have one candidate only because of the virus. The nomination period was cut short because we had to delay it. May 8th, the vote today had to take place because if we didn't do it today, it would have been maybe next year because you have to change the law. You have to get Beijing to change everything. So that was why it was so important that today we can vote. So basically, in fairness to him, he had 3.5 weeks after the nomination period was delayed by a month. And so he had 3.5 weeks to really get his campaign together. And Carrie Lam, during her time, she had 5 months, so you can have debates, you can have all that kind of thing. So it was a difference. So I don't think in the future that we're always going to have one candidate. I think Beijing basically will have 2 or 3 candidates if we have a more normal time.
So are you confident that if not for COVID-19 today, that we'd be seeing maybe even 2 or 3 contenders for this race and that we would be having rallies, people would be out on the streets?
Oh, definitely. We've had it before.
Given this political
We've had debates in the past and all that. Nothing's changed. Our in the basic law, we have universal suffrage. It's in the basic law, but now is not the time for it, which is understandable.
And what do you think makes John Lee the right man for the job? Or have you spoken with Lee yourself?
I know John Lee a long time. I know him for many years. And honestly, he's really a can-do person. In the 3.5 weeks that he's been out campaigning, the first thing he said is we have to be result-oriented. And that's something, that means it's his training. It's the way, when you're in security, when you're in the police force, you come to work every day not knowing, it's crisis management, not knowing what you're going to face, whether it's murder, whether it's robbery, whatever. You have to solve the problem. And that's what the police force do all over the world. And so basically that's his training. And so where Hong Kong has fallen behind in the past was LegCo was stuck. Nothing was moving. Bills would not get passed. LegCo is the engine that really helps Hong Kong people. And everything was blocked, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months to pass bills. And really, you can't operate a plunge like that. So Hong Kong people were suffering. We now have a lot of problems because of it. Now with the Patriots ruling Hong Kong and ruling in LegCo, it really does give LegCo a chance to pass bills, which they already have. And it's really worked very, very well for us,
And what do you think of John Lee's political manifesto? And do you think that his plans, which some may say have really only been very vaguely outlined, will move Hong Kong closer to alleviating some of its deep-rooted problems, such as the housing crisis?
In 3.5 weeks, basically, I think they pulled together a pretty good plan. The reason you can't go into details is because you really have 3.5 weeks for it. Give him time. Putting together a very strong cabinet. We need a strong financial secretary. We need a strong health minister. We need all the areas that there's been weakness in the past. And I believe that in financial, of course, we've had strong, hopefully Paul Chan will get his turn again as a financial secretary. He has the credibility and of the people of Hong Kong, and also the worldwide credibility. So hopefully someone like that, but in financial services, we're very, very strong. So I really believe that he will be able to get things done now. Housing has been a huge problem for everyone because of try and build something in Hong Kong takes forever. He will change bills, which again will change everything. And I really do believe, I look forward to the next 5 years. I really believe he's attacking all the problems that we have had these last 5 years.
He proposed that people waiting for public housing estates should be able to move into estates even before all those facilities are built. And some people say, sorry, in his manifesto, he proposed that people who are waiting to move into public housing estates should be able to do so before all the facilities are built. But some criticize that this is not actually tackling the root of the problem, which is that there are not enough public housing estates in Hong Kong to begin with, and that construction is not happening at a pace that's fast enough. So how would you respond to that kind of claim?
He has said that he wants to change the way we can build things, and so he's just giving a kind of out of the box thing that, hey, if a building is finished, why not? If people want, he's not forcing you to move in. If you want to move in, I think the critics don't know what they're talking about, because why not give people an opportunity to to come up with their own ideas? He comes from housing estates.
Always promised to solve the housing.
Yeah, and they have not fulfilled, and that's why the beauty of him is he comes out of a housing estate. In a speech the other day, he said we couldn't even afford a television, and then my father was able to buy a TV, and all the neighbors came and watched TV. So he understands that the grassroots. That's why he visited two families in subdivided flats. He knows from experience. Maybe some of the other candidates never experienced that, and that's why I do believe he can understand, he can feel it, and he really wants to help. And that was something that to me is very important. Attacking not just the tycoons, but really looking at the grassroots. I say give him a chance. Give him a chance to fix Hong Kong and fix the problems that we've had. And instead of everyone being negative, be positive and let's make it better.
So if it is the case that, as you said, that John Lee truly understands the people of Hong Kong, why do you think he hasn't made more effort over the past few weeks to engage the Hong Kong public? I mean, a rally that he held.
In fairness, 3.5 weeks, and we had social distancing, we had all the other things. I mean, he has appealed to the people. He's been working like a Trojan. If you see his schedule, every day he was out meeting different groups. He just met the international chambers, and
he's exempt from COVID.
Of course, but you don't want to get everybody together and then suddenly COVID breaks out, So in fairness, it's 3.5 weeks. I think he's done a pretty good job for 3.5 weeks.
He's met, a lot of different business groups, industry groups, but these are all, the elites of the elites. He hasn't made much of an effort to engage with the grassroots.
Not necessarily. He's been to the public housing estate. He's been to subdivided flats. He's met people from subdivided flats. Ethnic minorities. He's talked to ethnic minorities, to everybody. He even had somebody who'd known him for 25 years, the Indian community, the other day up there, and they love him. I've talked to them. I know them. They all say as a police officer, he was very, very, very accommodating to them. So I'm just saying, get your facts right if you're going to say something.
Last question to wrap up quickly. Yeah. So Carrie Lam's popularity hit record low in her term. Do you think that Lee will prove to be a more popular leader?
I don't think it'll be difficult, to be quite honest. But to be honest, I think he'll probably be one of the best leaders we've had. At the end of the proof will be in 5 years from now. But honestly, I really feel that he will be very strong. And that's an honest opinion. If I didn't, I would say it. I think in the end, proof is in the pudding. In the end, I mean, at the beginning, everybody's always suspicious. Listen, I can take you back to other countries around the world. People are always suspicious about their leaders. But then at the end, if they have a better life, you give me a better life, I'll love you.
I have to chip in with one more. You mentioned tycoons.
Yeah.
Arguably, you're one of the iconic tycoons of Hong Kong.
Unfortunately.
But also you're Chinese, right? I mean, are you concerned that Beijing is eyeing a crackdown on the tycoons, and what your position might be?
Not necessarily. I mean, I have a good relationship with Beijing, and I think that as long as the tycoons really show that they're giving back to society, and really, and you can see a lot of them now. You have the younger generation amongst the tycoons, and many of them seem to be hearing the message about housing. Because in fairness, those tycoons got rich over the system over many years. They didn't do anything wrong, but I mean, they just played the system, and we had such a housing shortage here that some of the families have more money than the GDP of some countries, you know. Nothing negative about that, but they just need to change. And so I believe that Beijing understands that, and they wanted to kind of break that cycle, which is a good thing. They care about Hong Kong, Beijing, whether we like it or not. They need Hong Kong. They don't need 7.5 million more people. They have 1.4 billion people as another Chinese city. They need us as the super connector, as the one country, two systems. And if you remember that, you'll see it'll be very good.
Yeah, I think people are starting to take their seats, so we'll let you go. Thank you so much.